Hello, boys and girls. We are on our next story. So by looking at the pictures, what do we think this story might be about? I see flowers, but what else do I see? I see a lot of bees. The story that we're going to read today is called Buzzy Bee. And our words to remember are another, change, field, touch, 12, wait, and wild. And the passage over here says, we see lots of bees in our field. They love the wildflowers there. The bees touch the flowers and get food from them. Inside the hive, grubs wait for this food. Soon the grubs will change into bees. In about 12 days, there will be another bunch of new bees. Cool, huh? So we're going to read a story to find out more about bees. Before anything, looking at the title, what do all these three words have in common? Busy, buzzy, bee. Do we all hear that sound? How do they sound the same? Busy, buzzy, bee. They all start with the letter B, right? So this story is called Busy Buzzy Bee by Karen Wallace. It is a non-fiction book. In nonfiction, the author gives information about a subject. So you should look for details about what worker bees do, information about how bees grow, and get information from the pictures that they show. So this picture, we already have a bee going bzzz all around and with the flowers. Busy Bee has work to do. She crawls out of her hive. She spreads her wings. Busy Bee is looking for a flower. Busy Bee flies over a stream. She flies past an oak tree and into a field. The field is full of wildflowers. Do we think that bee is going to like this field of wildflowers? Yes, I think so too. Busy Bee lands on a flower. Each flower holds sweet drops of nectar. Bees make nectar into honey. Nectar and honey are food for bees. Busy Bee laps up the nectar with her long, narrow tongue. She will take it back to the hive. So see, she's taking in the nectar. Each flower holds grains of pollen. Flower pollen is food for bees too. The pollen sticks to Busy Bee's furry body. Who would have ever thought bees have furry bodies, right? But the bees have the furry bodies and the pollen sticks to it. She brings it back to the hive on her two back legs. So all of that pollen stuck to her back legs and she's going to bring it right back to her hive. Busy Bee is a worker bee. Inside the hive, there are thousands like her. All worker bees are female, so all the worker bees are girls. Busy Bee dances a dance. She waggles her bottom, she crawls in circles. Her dance shows the other workers the way to find the flower nectar. So look at the picture and see what that bee is doing to show everyone else where they can find the flower nectar. Inside the hive, the bee makes cells. Some are for the honey the bees make from nectar. So look, we have a honey cell and a pollen cell, because some are for the pollen the bees have collected. Some are for the eggs that the queen bee lays. So we have the honey cells, the pollen cells, we also have egg cells for more bees to be born. Busy Bee has work to do. First, she feeds the drone bees. All drone bees are males, so all the drone bees are boys. The drones mate with the queen bee. Then Busy Bee feeds the queen bee. The queen bee lays 1,000 eggs every day. Inside their cells, the eggs hatch into bee grubs. Busy Bee and thousands like her take some pollen mixed with honey. They feed it to the hungry grubs. So the grubs are the baby bees. Busy Bee has work to do. She feeds the bee grubs every day. When the grubs are 9 days old, she seals their cells with waxy covers. I wonder why she does that. Inside their cells, the bee grubs change. They grow legs and wings. They grow long, narrow tongues. In 12 days, they change from grubs to bees. They crawl out and wait for their new wings to dry. So the busy bee put on that waxy cover so they could turn into a bee, right? Busy Bee and thousands like her touch the young bees with their feelers. They make them welcome into the hive. They feed them honey from the cells. Busy Bee has work to do. The young bees are hungry. Where can she find more flower nectar? Where can she find more pollen? Where did the bees find nectar and pollen? Oh yes, flowers. Look, another bee is dancing. She's found a garden full of flowers. She waggles her bottom, she crawls in circles. Her dance shows Busy Bee how to find the garden. Busy Bee and thousands like her fly from the hive. They find the garden full of flowers. They drink the nectar, they take the pollen. Busy Bee has work to do. So our think and response questions today are, what keeps Busy Bee so busy? So throughout the story, we kept hearing a lot that Busy Bee had work to do. What was the work that she was doing all the time? The next question is, the author begins and ends her story with the same sentence. What is it? Let's look back. Busy Bee has work to do. Did we see that throughout the story a lot? Right? If you look back in the story, Busy Bee has work to do. The author used that a lot because she had a lot of work to do, right? How are all the worker bees alike? What did the worker bees do? Think about what they did. Look back in the story. The next question is, what happens to the eggs after the queen bee lays them? What happened to them? Where did she lay them? Do you remember? And the last question is, which fact did you think was most interesting? So think about your favorite fact that you learned from this story and why you liked it so much. I hope you enjoyed learning about bees, and I'll see you soon. Bye.